Hello and welcome back. This is Kristen and I'm with the Online Selling Show, and I am here today starting week 3. I have been online selling for 22 years on eBay, and I have been in the wholesale model on Amazon for easily 15 years now. It has been my family's primary source of income since 2017. So I'm trying to make this eBay business of reselling a viable thing for my family again, because in 3 years, my husband and I are looking to sell our home in southern New Jersey and move to South Carolina. And I want to get rid of a lot of the stuff in my house that I just don't see me taking with us on the move. And I'm also trying to do something for some retirement income when we get down there. I know I'm going to want to do some stuff, and I want something that's flexible, and I have found eBay can be that. I can travel and, I'll just put my store on vacation mode or whatever. So I've already done 2 videos, and I'm finding that I like to start the videos off with some of the lessons as more of a reaffirmation to myself, but also for any of you that are trying to get this started as well. Or if you have been doing it, sometimes other experiences that people have may make you aware of that you're not alone facing what you're doing. So this particular week, I have a couple things. One of the experiences I found was I had been out and I did a video from week 2, and I apologize. I meant to get to a second video of what I bought at the yard sales, and I didn't get to it. There was a box of stuff I bought from a house that the woman was very into primitive homespun, a lot of like handmade type of stuff. I don't know if she made it or she bought them at places, but I have found that that is a very common and desirable kind of home decor, and it's not as readily available as some of the people think it would be. So I took a chance and I bought some stuff. So we'll see. I'll bring up some of that during the wrap-up videos at some of the end of the weeks. I'll point them out. But I did find there was a couple things. She had a box of 10-cent items, and in there was a couple complimentary items that went with some of the items I had intended to buy. And now I kind of kick myself because there was some things in there, and like I said, it was 10 cents. So I was like, oh, I'll take a chance on this, and I'll take a chance on that. And so now I have probably 6 or 7 things that are sitting there that I just keep skipping over, because they're only going to sell for between $10, $15 maybe. And I don't, my promise to myself was, from the years I've done this in the past, is I have to list the stuff from this week before I'm moving into the next, because I've been down that road where you got that death pile and I don't want to do it. And I said to myself I didn't want to get into it, and I'm already starting to do that. And most of the stuff was this 10-cent items. Almost every single thing in my mind I'm thinking of right now was those 10-cent items. So my advice to you is get on listing what you have. Don't be picking up stuff if you think it's cheap and you could just make 10, because my business model is I want to sell 15 items a day with a net profit, meaning net is, if I sell it for 30 and there's $5 of sales fee, and then there's $5 of shipping and $5 I paid for the item. Like, I want everything of cost out of it and be left with $20. So if I'm starting with an item at $10, $12, that's a retail, I'm not going to get that. So one lesson to myself I have to remember is, don't go for something because it's cheap. Just, 10 cents. If 10 cents isn't going to sell for 30 or 35, I'm not doing it. That's number 1. Number 2 was I really have to pay attention to this eBay app. I found that I was in the store, I was doing some research, and it just happened to me today. I'm in the Philadelphia region, and I picked up at the yard sale, my thrift store, this vintage Phillies jersey, and it's the pink for women. This is, I could find, I think, sold one. And the Phillies, from what I understand from people on my barbecue yesterday, were going on about how phenomenal the Phillies are doing this year. I don't follow them, truthfully. I mean, I like, if they're in the World Series, I probably would watch it. But my understanding is they're doing phenomenal. And I looked that jersey up, and I put in for pink women. They were bringing in every kind of jersey imaginable. So I need to start educating myself, because what I'm finding is either maybe I'm misspelling, which could be, but I'm finding that I'm looking at the store at like comps and solds, and then I go home to list stuff, and the stuff isn't like even in the ballpark. Like, so I'm not sure like what I'm looking at. So I think I'm gonna have to really play around with, I don't know if you're familiar, if you put the apostrophes, like that'll be like they'll only give you search results using those keywords if you put them inside of parentheses. I think it's parentheses. And so I really have to pay attention, because I did buy stuff I should have never bought. I'm putting them up. I had them listed, but I'm hoping that, I can get my money back, basically, because I think it was me misspelling or them just pushing other items to me that I wasn't being aware of. So I need to get better educated. And I kind of went into this right now knowing I was going to make those mistakes, and that's fine. Again, every lesson that we have in life is a lesson through some form of a payment, whether if it's ignorance, you're paying through, unexpected stuff. You're either going to have to pay the expert to teach you for it. Somehow or another, you're going to pay for the lesson. So I'm paying for it by buying stuff I shouldn't be buying. Then the third lesson is that I had a meeting with my bookkeeper, because the online business I currently have has so much going on, and I've said it before that I want to keep things more simple. It's a very complicated model because of the volume that we do, and I need to start unraveling some of this stuff, because like my credit cards and my PayPal account and all that stuff is tied to the business of what's paying our bills right now. But whether you're just starting out or whatever form where you're at in this journey for yourself, even from the beginning, if you can, set up so that you have like your own accounts for this. And for me, like I said, right now, like I'm going to Goodwill, I'm using a credit card. I don't want to have to constantly say to her, this is for, put it as a personal, or whatever. So I'm going to have probably at least another discussion with her, because we're still both trying to go through and figure out how to get these set up, basically. And I think in the long run, it's going to be a good thing for her, so that there's less of some work on her plate that's going to move over, so she won't have to keep questioning me with purchases and stuff. So that's the other lesson, is to make sure that you start taking control today of the things that you can control. And some of it is going to be like the financial, and it's going to make things a lot more simple for me, which is another reason why I'm doing the credit card for Goodwill, because I can get one statement, I can just track, I can attach my receipts to the back of that, and I'm using Flipwise to do my bookkeeping aspect of it. So to me, that's going to be my business. That's going to be my business model, is that stuff's going to get listed this week. I'm going to get the stuff with the cost of goods right in the Flipwise, so I can just take those receipts, know that it's attached. I'm not physically printing out my statements anymore, they're all online, but I will have an envelope that I can put them in, and it's just designated for this year or whatever it may be, but at least I know that they're there, where they're at, if there's questions and stuff like that. So that's so far this 3 lessons I learned. Then we're on today, which is Friday, and I'm telling you, it's 95 degrees. It's hot. I went in at Goodwill today. I was just standing there in front of the fans. I was like so hot. But anyway, there's not a lot of yard sales I didn't see yet. I did see a church rummage sale that's a little bit distant from my house. That's the only one I saw. It may be because the 4th and people are taking the long weekends. It's supposed to be like 95 here tomorrow. So I don't know if yard sales are going to be a viable thing this weekend. I really did well with some of the stuff I bought this past weekend. Those will be in my wrap up at the end of this. I'm going to make this whole video for the wrap up of week 3. But I liked the, the selection and things like that. So I'm looking forward to doing some more yard sale. I think it's just we're in a very touristy area. I do have to plan, because things that may take 5-10 minutes during my normal course of the year can take like 40 now. So I really have to pay attention to what's going on as far as traffic and things like that with people coming in and around my area. And again, the heat factor is another thing, is that I don't even know if I want to be out doing anything in 95-degree weather, truthfully. So if not, I may just do another one. I've got a couple small thrift stores, like, more family or charity run ones I haven't tried yet. So I may go do those instead. So we'll see. I'll be back with another video after this one, and we'll see where I wind up. So to keep you up to date, I did not go out to any yard sales over this 4th of July weekend. There really wasn't any that I found. So I did go make another thrift store run. And then on the Sunday, I did go to a yard sale it was an older couple where they were running an antique store, not antique, I keep saying antique, a ceramic store out of their house. And she's incapacitated, needing back surgery. And the husband just says he's getting too old to do all the pouring and stuff with the molds. So I'm gonna get into the numbers then, because there really wasn't anything else to report. I'm gonna come back now and wrap up the sales for this past week. I've got them sorted in the highest to lowest. And some of the lower ones really just were kind of not really that exciting. The first one I'm going to highlight is this Alan Stewart vintage bowling shirt. I bought this. When I looked at the comps, they weren't overly a lot pertaining to this brand, but I did buy it for the style. Now, I did get this at a local Goodwill with discount. I got it for $4.24. I was able to sell it for $25 with $8.20 for shipping. Not bad. When you go through this sales, I paid 40 cents for the collection of the funds, $4.59 for the commission. The cost to ship was $5.52, which left me with $18.45. So that was a 435% ROI and a margin of 56%. So, not bad to take $4 and turn it into 18, Like I said, this took me all of 7 days a week to sell, so not bad on that one. One of the other things I figured I would point out was did sell a Longaberger basket. It was another personal thing that's been sitting in my basement. I bought this many years ago to sell on eBay, and it's just been sitting around. I did sell this on an offer. They put it in their watch list, and I sent them an offer for $26.94, and they took that, and they paid $10.10 for shipping. So after you pay the 40-cent fixed value fee, the commission of $5.20, 79 cents went to an ad, and $6.14 to ship. I was left with $24.51. I probably paid about $5 for this years ago, but this is an example where you have it sitting around, and the longer it sits around, it really was kind of losing value. So had I sold this many years ago, I probably would have did better with it, but again, not bad, $24.51 for something just sitting in my house. Another item I was going to bring up was I did mention that I found this in a yard sale. This was something that they use in the creating of wool to felt and yarn, I'm assuming. This was the Carter that I mentioned. I bought at a yard sale for $10. I had this listed. It took me less than a day to sell. It went up on July 3rd at 11:16 p.m. and it sold overnight on the 5th at 2:16 a.m. So this was really maybe a little over 24 hours then, but still went very quickly. They put it in their watch list, and I sent them an offer of $44.86, which they accepted, and they paid $5.55 for shipping. So this is an example where I was off on my shipping, but I don't really mind. I bought this for $10. I paid 40 cents for the fixed value fee, $7.27 for the final value fee commission. $9.20 is what it cost me to ship, so I did lose quite a bit, but I still brought in $24.54 after all that. So $10 to make $24.54 isn't bad. Day and a half, maybe tops. It was listed for 273% ROI and a 49% net profit margin. So I was very happy with that. This was one, like I said, when I looked at the comps, I was a little thinking I was going to get like $30 to $40, and I was actually able to get a little bit more. So I was very happy with that. One of the other things, I'm not going to go through like my business stuff because there's just different things in there for how I got them and associated and different things. One of the other things I'm going to bring up was this. I showed this in the video as well. I got this at the same yard sale for $3. I put this up, it literally sold in minutes. It went up on July 2nd at 10:32 p.m. Okay, it took me less than 24 hours. It was sold on July 3rd at 7:25 p.m. So this was up less than 24 hours. I was able to sell this for $69.99 for that $3 purchase, so not bad. There was a fixed value fee of 40 cents, an $11.02 final value fee. The ad did cost me $1.66, and the cost of ship was $4.68. So after all that was said and done, my $3 brought me back $56.23. That's a 1,874% ROI. Phenomenal. There was a 73% net profit margin on that. So this has to be one of like the best home runs I've had in a long time. And that's not something I'm going to unfortunately be able to find very recently or very quickly again. Mentioned in my first Goodwill trip, I found a Lennox pattern that happened to be my own personal, so I did keep quite a bit of it for myself, but I did list the teapot, and I did this as a back and forth with an offer and counter offer, and we finally agreed on a final price of $95 for purchase. She paid $10 for shipping. With the New Jersey sales tax, I paid $10.65 for this. So my $10.65 came into, when you look at the fees that went out, there was 40 cents for the collection of funds, $15.11 for the commission to eBay, $2.28 for this to be promoted on the platform, $6.31 was my cost of shipping. So I came down with a $70.25 net return. Not bad. I paid $10.65 and came back with $70.25. That was a 660% ROI, or a net profit margin of 67%. One of the things I did though that I kind of kicked myself, but it's not over yet, but this buyer did put this in, and my husband had it all ready to go for UPS to pick it up, and it was sitting out in our warehouse waiting to get picked up, and she put another offer in on a platter that matched, and we were starting to get into negotiations on that, and I had to tell her, I'm like, it can't get combined with your other purchase. And as soon as I told her that, she stopped the negotiations. So I probably could have gotten a better another sale out of this, but unfortunately I really I don't know. I believe the platter will sell as it gets closer to the holidays, but I would have loved to have, I should have probably taken it and just redid the shipping again. But this was a lot for packaging to make sure it was going to get there, safely. And then some of the last highlights I want to bring up was I have two different Lennox. These are some mini ornaments that went on a tree that Lennox produces, that you change the ornaments out for each season. And this is something that's just been sitting around my house. So I bring this up for those of you that question, can you still get into this and make money? Or like, what would you do? You don't have any money to get started. Here is something that I literally just had sitting in my counters or in my cabinets. I was able to sell this Lennox. There's 12 mini ornaments, because again, you change these out by the season. By the time fall hits, I'm usually too busy, and I skip right into Christmas decorating. I was able to get $120 for these, and the person bought these, and they also bought the winter ones. So they paid $10.80 for this. If you go through all the fees, it does look quite steep, but again, not bad. even afterwards, because I paid, you know, the 40 cents to eBay, the $18.54 to them. The ad fee is $2.80. I split the shipping cost. I put $2.92 in here, so I was able to pull out $106 for this item. For this particular item, it took 18 days to sell. So they bought this one, and they also bought this winter one, and they bought the winter one for $125. So when you go through all the fees of that, I pulled out another $110. So I had over $200 of just these small boxed things sitting in a cabinet in my house. So I would highly recommend, if you're thinking about doing it, just get started with stuff around the house. You have value of things sitting there. It's really just going through and going to eBay and just seeing what things sell for, because, you know, there's over $200. I down here in the I told you about the basket, I pulled out like 20 some dollars, and I did have just like some stupid mug that was been in our cupboard forever. This I sold in 17 days. You know, I got $12.99 for it. Doesn't look extensive, but here was another $11.61. So by the time you add everything up, it probably brought in $250 just for these 4 things that were sitting in my cabinets. So this is going to be my wrap up of what my, you know, good sales were in this past week, and give you an insight as to how I'm building this business going forward, so that I can get my, like I said, I'd like to have, you know, a six-figure business by the time I retire. And I mean like a steady 6-figure business where, you know, I can count on that money coming in daily and weekly and monthly. So I hope you're getting some content out of this. We'd greatly appreciate it if you subscribe down below. And if you wanted to see when, you can hit the notification bell if you want this to actually show up in your feed and you won't miss any more installments. I do have another one coming right behind this. That was my next week, and I have some really good sales in that one too. So catch you next time.